everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Sustainability Sets the Stage for Success in Retail, Trends and Realities. I'm Adam Blair, the editor of Retail Touchpoints, and I'll be moderating today's session. Sustainability is taking center stage for organizations and its consumers who are leading the way. Capgemini Research Institute's latest studies show that 79% of consumers are changing their purchase preferences based on sustainability. However, only 36% of retailers actually believe that consumers are willing to shift purchase choices based on social or environmental impact. And this gap represents heavy potential losses for retailers that refuse to recognize the importance of these impacts. Today we'll be hearing more about these trends, along with subsequent impacts and practical recommendations, as well as real-world deployments that address sustainability. We encourage you to follow this event on Twitter using the hashtag #SustainabilitySuccess. You can also reach today's session participants via the handles listed on this slide. For those of you who may be new to Retail Touchpoints, here's a quick overview. We're an all-digital media company publishing 2 weekly email newsletters, daily news, special reports, and multimedia presentations. We also do live events, including the Retail Innovation Conference that took place earlier this month. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our weekly newsletter. We welcome input and feedback through traditional means, phone and email, as well as social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Our website address is www.retailtouchpoints.com. I'd like to introduce today's speakers. Cindy Lago is a vice president and leader of supply chain for Capgemini, where she helps large, complex organizations in multiple industries digitally transform supply chain operations in areas including demand planning, order management, master data management, and analytics. Cindy's perspectives have appeared in numerous industry publications, including Industry Week, Environmental Leader, Supply Chain World, and Apparel Magazine. Monique van der Linde is Senior Consultant for Innovation and Sustainability in the CPRD market for Capgemini Netherlands. She uses her academic foundation in sustainable business and innovation to collaborate with her clients, helping them develop and reach their sustainable business goals. Her experience in design thinking, waste management, circular fashion, and energy reduction help customers achieve measurable environmental and social gains. Diane Lemondola is Global Partner Director for Retail Banking, Hospitality, and Education at Intel Corporation, where she creates strategic partnerships to deliver innovative end-to-end solutions for customers in these industries. She brings extensive experience as a retail executive in unified commerce, digital transformation, store operations, customer loyalty, distribution, and warehouse operations. And Michelle Rosenquist is Marketing and Retail Manager for the Salvation Army ReShare. He's worked for the organization since 2013 in a variety of management roles. His current role focuses on ReShare's commercial activity, retail departments, marketing and communications, account management, and product development. And his key focus is on improving business and processes, finding opportunities, and improving results by paying particular attention to employee capabilities. Now I'm going to turn it over to Cindy.
Hi, this is Cindy Lago. I'm going to start us off by talking about retail success stories, but first just go a little bit through the agenda of what we plan on covering today. We want to talk about the retail trends and the realities around sustainability and how it sets the stage for your go-forward strategic endeavors in this area. Today we want to cover with you the trends in the retail sustainability from a business perspective, but we also want to talk about consumer products and retail organizations and how you can actually accelerate sustainability within your organization. We'll talk a little bit about some of the technologies that support this, how AI has been enabled to support sustainability for the Salvation Army, and then follow it up by some Q&A. So defining sustainability. The United Nations defines sustainability as a balance between the present and future, and how the impact of what we're doing today will impact what the needs of future generations have. They look at it in 3 core elements. They think about it as environmental friendliness, social responsibility, and economic inclusiveness. These are not only interrelated, but also as we think about sustainability within our own livelihood, I think everyone agrees that framework for consumer products and retail organizations need to be focused in these areas. We want to make sure that we're being as environmentally friendly as possible, conserving national resources and preserving our environment. looking at social responsibility, driving fair labor policies, safe working conditions for our workforce, and also including economic inclusiveness. How are we, a global economy, how are we helping handle things like fair trade and commitments to a wider cause like reduction of poverty? Think about sustainability in consumer goods and the retail value chain. It's pretty amazing when you look through the value chain itself. When within our survey that you can download, you'll see that we've identified 20 different areas that are areas where these pieces of the value chain are impacted with sustainability. And that doesn't include things like just the IT and the wider initiatives for humanity, but really how we can impact sustainability and how we source product, how we design product, how we manufacture product, or the manufacturers we buy from, the packaging of our product, how are we selling product to our consumers, how are we giving them the ability to buy in the quantities they want, in types of reusable packaging they may be looking for, and then how are we employing and treating our labor force. So we look at trends in sustainability and the impact on business. What we find is sustainability makes customers happy, and it impacts the way they purchase. In a recent survey, 79% of our customers that are your customers are saying that they are already very focused on sustainability. They are focused on, so 42% to say they already think about this when they make their purchases, and 37% are probably going to change the way they make purchases in the future because of this. So when you think about the impact that you have on your customer and making them happy, it is obviously very important to them to focus on how they can feel that they are driving sustainability throughout the global economy, but also into their own household. What does that mean? That means that consumers practice sustainability in their shopping habits, which we talked about a little bit, but we're going to go into further detail. And then how they also use it in their daily behaviors, and so what they expect from us as retailers and CD companies, and how to act. Consumers, first of all, are looking for healthier choices. They've been looking for healthier choices for a while, but now they're really looking at what are healthier ingredients, what are natural ingredients, because in their mind, the local ingredients and seasonal ingredients, all of these things will help reduce the impact to the environment. So they're looking at that. 42% of the time, that's important to what their purchasing choices. 68% of the time, they're bringing their own bags to the grocery store. So they feel that being able to reuse product, such as their own grocery bags, and being able to fill that and saving on plastic makes a difference in the environment. And they're expecting that their retailers are thinking the same way. They also are looking for how the package is made. They want to make sure that it is recyclable. They want to make sure that they can, properly dispose of this packaging, and it's not something that's going to continue to erode our environment. When they bring it home, from their behaviors, they're looking to buy appliances that are energy efficient. They're looking to improve in the environment through emissions of gas and reducing those emissions. They're also looking for minimizing household waste and food. So how do we make sure that they are buying in the right quantities so that when they come home, they feel like they've made a good purchase and they're eliminating those waste? One of the things that we looked at as well is what was the impact of this during COVID. And the interesting thing was, there is some top of mind changes as far as maybe what they're focused on. So they are focused again more on the natural resources and just the scarcity of them. So I think as everybody felt shortages in their own stores, that this has become something that they're continuing to be more conscious of. But sustainability did not take a backseat. They still want to make sure that they're mindful. They are becoming more mindful of their consumption, and it does have an impact on their sustainability, so they feel good about that. But they also are believing that the companies they buy from play a larger role in society, and that they should also be very concerned about the sustainability that their company does for the environment. 53% of them prefer to engage in buying from companies that have that credential, that embody that sense of purpose. They feel that they are buying from a company that they can trust, that is being sustainable and is looking out for their own best interests. So organizations are yet to come to terms with how consumers' preferences have changed. 36% of the time is what, as executives are thinking, that consumers are looking for sustainable products. Yet we know from our survey, 79% of the time it's more relevant to where they're looking for sustainable products. It's a gap of over 40 points. And we also found that consumers are also willing to go to less well-known brands 53% of the time, where executives think they would only switch 24% of the time. So there is a gap from an organizational perspective that we see in how we need to shift the way we think as organizations to be more sustainable for our consumers, because that's what our consumers are looking for. And what does that mean? Well, there's benefits to doing that. Organizations see and believe that they have benefits. They grow in customer loyalty. Their brand value grows. You increase in your employee motivation levels. You increase in your customer satisfaction scores. Your revenue will grow. And you'll increase in your supplier loyalty as well. So it is important for us to think about the gaps that we see between how customers are perceiving sustainability and where the organizations think that their perception is. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Monique, and she's going to talk to you about how to accelerate sustainability in your organization.
Thank you, Cindy. So now you might wonder, where do I start participating in sustainable transformation? Or if you've already started, how do I sustain my development curve? I am Monique van der Linde, and I'm going to tell you more about what you can do to start making a sustainable impact at your company. In this research, areas of success we see in our industry. And as you can see here on the slide, these are educate, activate with technology, govern, and collaborate. And if you read the report from the Research Institute, you'll see that there's a world of possibilities there. There are so many tips and best practices that I can give you, and that's also why these slides are a bit busy, but at least you have something to read. But I'll just highlight a couple of things from my own experience. And on to point 2, I'm also not going into the technological aspect because Diane is going to tell a bit more about that. First of all, educate your employees and consumers. And I would like to add to that your partners and suppliers as well. Focus on improving awareness by sharing knowledge with all of them. Internally, I would focus on engaging your employees by creating a community. In this sustainability community, your employees have the freedom to start their own initiatives and participate. And that way, sustainability can thrive in your organization. So it's really about educating them and making sure knowledge is there present in the company, but also empowering them to start up their own initiative. So the community feeling is really important in there. This also brings me to my second point, and that's having a governance model in place. Such a community also fits within the larger governance that needs to be set up throughout the company. And we see that really commitment from the C-level is very important there. And a good example of that is our own, Capgemini's own new publicly announced Raison d'être, which is unleashing human energy through technology for an inclusive, sustainable future. And you see that inclusiveness and sustainability is right in there. It's also backed up by new carbon reduction targets. So the C-level commitment is important, but also, we really see that it needs to be carried out throughout the whole organization by everyone. So also mid-level management, and certainly don't underestimate bottom-up initiatives. So a lot of expertise is probably in those core processes that you might want to tackle anyway. So what we see at other companies that we've worked with is that you really need to involve them in your workshops or let them build their own proof of concept, because the intrinsic motivation is really important in there. So showing commitment is also a sign to new talent that you might want to acquire in your transformation. So they can be those change agents that you really need. Collaborate with a larger ecosystem. A nice example of that is our own Circle solution that we developed together with Intel, HP, and E.ON. And our first proof of concept that we did together with Michel at ReShare. And Michel will end this webinar with his story. In this slide, you see also some very hands-on steps that you can take, like mapping out your supply chain and identifying critical partners. The most important thing here is be honest about your challenges and find solutions together. So to wrap up, a last piece of advice. Make a big commitment and start small right now. Sometimes sustainability challenges might feel very big or complex and you really don't know where to start. And in that case, I would say start with the smallest step that you can take. You've already done a great job by being here and learning from your peers. So I would suggest start by focusing on one process, create a workshop around that and involve everyone in it. Start experimenting and see how you can make that business case, but just start with a very small step and don't think about the bigger picture just yet, but think about the commitment that you want to make. So that very small step is also what we've done with ReShare. And I believe we can make a much bigger impact if we adapt this solution to other retailers as well. So the second thing is to create that community in which sustainability can thrive. So involve everyone in your whole value chain and show that everyone is important in the sustainable transformation. And finally, be open and share achievements and also your challenges. Others might have solutions to your problems which you can only find out by sharing it with them. And you can make the biggest impact if you work together. And of course, don't forget to celebrate those achievements. Every step you take towards a more sustainable future counts. And now Diane from Intel is going to tell you more about the role of technology in sustainability.
Thank you, Monique. So before I get into some of the specific implications of technology and sustainability in retail, I want to share just a brief couple of data points with you about what we are doing at Intel. And our purpose, which we've launched earlier this year, is to create world-changing technology that enriches the lives of every person on Earth. At Intel, we put the silicon in Silicon Valley, and today our technology remains at the core of the most exciting, life-changing innovations. And we're really beginning a new era where there is an explosion of devices and data that's leading to several technology inflections. We've got artificial intelligence, 5G network transformation, computer vision, and the rise of the intelligent edge that all together are shaping that future of technology. And we are going to apply our reach, scale, and resources to deliver on some bold goals. But we can't do this alone. We're working with our customers and partners to really galvanize the industry to have an even greater impact. So as computing is permeating all of our interactions, increasingly everything looks like a computer. Think about it. Every retail experience, every vehicle, every factory are all generating staggering volumes of data. And through these solutions that we'll create with our customers and partners to unleash the unlimited potential of data that are going to lead to innovations that improve people's lives all over the world. We've had a long-standing commitment to corporate responsibility and sustainability that's been built on a foundation of transparency, governance, and ethics. And it's deeply integrated into all aspects of our business. So this integrated approach has helped to mitigate risks, reduce costs, build brand value, and really help to identify new market opportunities to apply our technology that help address society's most complex issues. And our commitment to transparency by setting ambitious goals has enabled us to drive meaningful results and challenging ourselves at Intel to really achieve higher levels of performance, and working really closely with our partners and customers. And so we've been able to progress by reducing greenhouse gas emissions, increasing our use of renewable energy, reducing water waste, advancing workforce diversity and inclusion, driving responsible supply chain practices, and enabling our employees' continued support of their local communities. So we're also going to apply this deep experience that we have as a leader in global manufacturing and leverage the unique position that we have with the technology ecosystem to embark on a number of collaborative initiatives that will help our customers achieve their own sustainability goals and accelerate progress in key areas across the entire technology industry. And that's why we've launched this new RISE strategy and the associated 2030 goals, and we'll provide links to access the sustainability goals as well as our sustainability report at the end of the session. But let's now explore a few of the technology implications on sustainability, specifically in retail. So we've got 4 areas to explore. The first is concept of innovating to zero response time. And while this isn't new, the underpinnings and the underpinning technologies that have advanced over the past many years have really helped to put this into the spotlight. So this is about being lean end to end from the source to the customer while eliminating waste throughout the entire supply chain. So using artificial intelligence and machine learning, we can really leverage the power of data to analyze and turn that data into actionable insights that help to reduce costs and waste throughout the supply chain. And if we start thinking about how we rethink demand management, really fitting supply to demand, as we've seen, right before us in 2020, where many retailers have had to adjust to focus on availability and replenishment for essential items versus non-essential items. And then we think about this concept that how do we take and create this opportunity for zero carbon retailing and products using consumer demand signals that will result in products that customers want to buy, thus eliminating inventory losses. And kind of taking this a step further, if you think about how stores could be stocked with designer clothes as soon as they're launched, rather than having a significant lag time in between, which could result and generate increased profitability for brands and retailers. And then if we think about consumers, the idea of ultra-fast delivery of products has been and is being explored through a variety of technologies like 30-minute drone deliveries or robots delivering food and medical supplies. And we've seen even in this current environment where there's increasing interest of having contactless interactions, which could make these types of technologies increasingly interesting. And then for retailers, rethinking the whole fulfillment model, such as micro-fulfillment from using the stores as a distribution center, as well as alternative methods of fulfillment, really thinking about how do we reduce the waste in the supply chain. Now, the future of energy is getting a lot of attention. So decentralization, digitization, and decarbonization are key themes that have been driving the energy sector and leading to these evolving business models. We see partners of ours like LG MRI that are creating sustainable drive-through innovation with solar-powered kiosks and menu boards. And these drive-through solutions have been designed, deployed, and now are being supported by local energy providers that are now delivering immediate positive impact to the store's appearance, operational efficiency, and carbon footprint. These can have significant environmental and power savings impact. And then think about the tangible benefits, the guest experience, streamlined operations, safer distancing, and a greener corporate image all emerge through these kind of solutions. And then we're seeing blockchain that can enable locally generated green energy to be much more accessible to the community and can really provide residents with power in the event of power outages and emergencies. Augmented reality and virtual reality technologies have also helped energy industry in enabling them to inspect, analyze, and fix problems or avoid potential hazards without having to have people physically in those locations, and to really help solve those problems. For consumers, products can be brought to life by using augmented reality and virtual reality by visualizing furniture in homes or contactless trials for clothing and cosmetics, all made in the comfort of your home without having to make that trip to the store. So really enhancing the online experience and while reducing the carbon footprint, which, we've seen certainly over the past 8 months with people not going into stores as frequently and a lot of interest in terms of how to enhance that online experience. And all of these technologies have the potential to reduce the carbon footprint. Then if we look at the social trends, we see food and water waste have garnered significant visibility. In the U.S., it's between 30 to 40% of food is wasted. And this amount of waste has very far-reaching impacts on society. Wholesome food that could help to feed families is actually sent to landfills. And the land, water, labor, energy, and other inputs used in producing, processing, transporting, preparing, storing, and disposing of discarded food are actually all contributing to significant waste. And if we think about the total volume of water that's used each year to produce food that's lost or wasted, it's equivalent to 3 times the volume of Lake Geneva. It's almost like unimaginable. So we're seeing solutions come out in Australia. There's an estimated $20 billion of food that's wasted there, and a leading large grocer has invested and actually did a spin-off on a company called Escavox using a blue box tracking device that logs time, air temperature, location, and a variety of other parameters along the journey of products, which really provides and it gives the voice of food. We're seeing other companies like Teak Origin that use a combination of advanced scientific procedures and machine learning to help everyone make better food decisions, working with grocers and other companies in the entire food supply chain to really help improve the quality of food that we buy and eat while also helping to reduce waste. And then by introducing artificial intelligence and machine learning to merchandising and supply chain processes, we can see store replenishment and price optimization, with grocers being able to cut down on product through reduced out of stocks, shorten shelf gaps, and more accurate demand forecasting. And for example, automated markdown recommendations can help fresh retailers reduce spoilage and combat waste by providing more quickly moving perishable items off of store shelves. And then by carrying the right amount of inventory, the risk of highly perishable foods going to waste drops and customer demand can be satisfied without losing sales. And then finally, computer vision and image recognition, leveraging Intel's OpenVINO technology, is helping to reduce theft through self-checkout by enhancing the customer and buying experience at the shelf, ensuring accurate product placement, while also capturing inventory replenishment demand. And then finally, as we look at smart's the new green, we're seeing tremendous interest in RFID and other sensors that are creating myriads of data to really better understand product placement and movement. Smart sensors also have the ability to help in lighting control as well as energy optimization across all of the aspects of retail. And we're seeing a number of AI-enabled services as a result. And then the final point here I want to share is that at Intel, we're really looking at our water strategy has 3 main objectives. It's to conserve water used in our operations, collaborate on water initiatives with local communities, and create solutions to help others reinvent how they use and conserve water. And so we're really working closely with a number of organizations and seeing how they have similar goals that have been established that are leveraging the water stewardship and sensors that monitor, measure, and decrease water usage throughout the supply chain. As Cindy noted earlier, 79% of consumers are changing their purchase preference based on social responsibility, inclusiveness, or the environmental impact of their purchases. And that really equates to shoppers like retailers that take responsibility. And now we're going to hear a lot more about that from Michelle. So Michelle, over to you.
Thank you, Diane. I am Michel Rosenquist, and I will briefly tell you something about Salvation Army and ReShare and how we are working with the Circle solution. The Salvation Army is an international organization which was founded in 1865 in London, UK. At this time, we are working in over 130 countries across the globe. Salvation Army started its work in the Netherlands in 1887, and at this time we employ 6,500 people. They work in our healthcare, in our social work, they work in fundraising, in the church, but also in the textile collection department. ReShare is a separate foundation within the Salvation Army in the Netherlands. We collect textile, we process the textile to get the waste out, and when we need it, we use it for aid. A big part is made ready for export to textile sorting centers, national and international. A part of the volume that we process is also being sorted for our ReShare stores. ReShare has 70 employees. Besides our own employees, we also create work in our operations for about 60 people with a distance to the labor market. In our stores, our store staff is being supported by about 120 to 150 volunteers. Some of them also find it hard to find a new job. And some of them just want to do good and be there for the other. In 2019, we collected 23 million kilos of textile. Until this day, we set up 10 ReShare stores in the Netherlands since the start in 2014. And in our stores, we have about 600,000 customer contacts per year. Our target groups are customers, those that have less to spend, those that shop second-hand vintage, those that shop second-hand from environmental point of view, and people that are willing to donate clothes to the Salvation Army. The mission of Salvation Army ReShare is to contribute on a sustainable manner to aid and care, the environment, and to labor participation. Our core mission is to act as good stewards of the planet and strive for responsible production and consumption. And with that core mission, which is related to the Sustainable Development Goal 12 by the UN, we can truly say that sustainability and circularity are in our DNA. If you look at our stores, you will see that the appearance of the store looks inviting. Not just a second-hand shop, but more the vintage and boutique-style type of store. The one that attracts everybody. People with less to spend should not pass our store thinking it's too expensive, and people with a bit more to spend, or those that are focused on sustainability, should think it's a shabby store. Attractive, warm and inviting. That are the key words. To give you a little bit of an idea, I have a short movie for you.
Mijn naam is is Marcia, ik ben floor manager van de ReShare Store in Nijmegen. Dat is een kledingwinkel van het Leger des Heils waar wij tweedehands en vintage kleding verkopen. De ReShare Store is opgericht omdat er ontzettend veel kleding nog in Nederland wordt weggegooid. Jaarlijks zo'n 135 miljoen kilo kleding. De eerste ReShare Store is begonnen in Groningen. Sindsdien zijn er verschillende locaties geopend, onder andere in Breda, in Rotterdam, in Arnhem, in Nijmegen, Bergen op Zoom. En er komen er steeds meer bij.
Het is ook eigenlijk een feestje dat als ik hier iedere keer kom, dat ik echt zoiets heb van yes. Natuurlijk heeft het te maken met de pand, de aankleding van de ReShare Store. Dat is gewoon keileuke collega's. Heel gaaf.
Nou, wat wij leuk vinden aan deze winkel is vanaf buiten in ieder geval al de uitstraling, zeg maar. En het trekt ook gewoon aan. En het is natuurlijk gewoon van het Leger des Heils.
Ja, en dat vind ik dan weer heel leuk. Dat je weet dat als je hier iets koopt, dat het ten goede komt aan andere mensen.
Ik kom hier heel graag omdat ik regelmatig in de buurt ben. En dan altijd even naar binnen wil lopen om te kijken wat ze weer voor nieuwe spulletjes hebben. Omdat het is een soort warm welkom als je hier naar binnen loopt. Leuke mensen die hier werken. En het is ook een soort van sociale plek. En de prijzen zijn behoorlijk aantrekkelijk.
Ja, het succes van dit concept, van de ReShare Store, dat zit hem echt in het feit dat de retail en het sociale aspect heel goed samengaan. Dat is een hele goede combinatie. Ja, dus niet zozeer alleen de winkel voor de verkoop, maar ook echt gewoon dat er naar geluisterd wordt, dat er tijd genomen wordt voor de mensen. Ja.
To get the good quality clothing in our store is a big challenge. Our bins that are on the street are sometimes seen as a waste disposal bin instead of textile collection bin. Because of waste in our collected volume and the lower quality of some cheaper products, overall quality in our bins that we receive is lower. In early days, we used to have about 20 to 25% of rewearable textiles per kilo. At this time, it is about 6 to 8%. This means that if we need more quality clothing, we need to sort more. That is an expensive process. So how can we increase the quality? A solution that we found was that we would ask our customers to donate their goods in the store. And what happened? Because it's not anonymous, people are bringing in only good products. And most of it was washed, ironed, and folded neatly. So we just had to determine the quality and the price and bring it to the shop floor. This brings us some new challenges. How do we estimate the price and quality? And also, how do we do that within our guidelines that our central sorting center uses as well? How do we keep a uniform price level and quality level when we have 30 colleagues judging each product in their own way? The solution came via Capgemini Applied Innovation Exchange. They came up to me and showed me the circle solution, which immediately grabbed my attention. I will tell you a little bit about the process of using the circle solution. We start the process by taking two pictures from both sides of the product. The computer creates a product page using artificial intelligence, and at last we decide the actual season of the product and fill in the brand name. The solution proposes a quality based on the information that we processed in the previous steps. So then the price is based on category, gender, season, and quality. And there you have it. This little dress can be sold in our store for €8, which I think is a bargain. As I said before, I was excited from the start of the project, but that was based on a meeting and seeing a short movie. I didn't see it for real. So how was it accepted in our stores? My colleagues were excited and enthusiastic as well. Some of them reacted like, "This is a cool tool, and machine learning is great. It helps us estimating the price, and everybody can use it. It's simple to use." Also, customers are asking about it. They see what the quality and value of the product that they brought to the store. So, what's next? We would like to see a connection to the point of sale system, and would also like to see that the machine can print the price tags. Of course, we want to broaden the product groups that the solution is getting, more real-life data, and we can process more products through Circle. On the long term, I would like to see it implemented in our stores, but also to use it in combination with a web store. And finally, I would like to see the solution being used in our central sorting facility. So before I hand it over to Monique, I just want to give you this quote. Thrifting is most uplifting. So go to a ReShare store or a thrift shop of the Salvation Army. Thank you.
Thank you, Michel. So Michel told us about the impact that Circle has made for the Salvation Army and the ReShare stores. And every retailer's process is different. And the longer we work on this proof of concept, the more angles we discover on how Circle could make a positive impact at other retailers. So if you're interested in making that impact together, please reach out to us. I'm going to give you a short summary of what we've seen today. So most importantly, consumers today include sustainability considerations in their purchase decisions. So this is making an increasingly bigger impact in our way of living. And as retailers, we need to address the gap between retail assumptions and consumer behavior by making a commitment for sustainability. So as what I told you, a commitment is very important to show everyone around you that you're committed to actually make a move on sustainability. So with that, a few of my tips were focus on a governance model, educate, enable, and empower your employees, and leverage technology through that. And I think that Diane gave you a couple of really good examples of what we already see in which situations in which technology really showed the difference and made a huge impact for sustainability. So start small and gain insights and make that small step even maybe tomorrow or today. So get started right away and read that report that we're talking about. So Diane's sustainability report from Intel, but also Capgemini's Research Institute report. Reach out for more information about that. There are a couple of links, so please read them and make that first move already today and make an impact together with us. So reach out to William or Ravati for more information or retail touchpoints. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks to all the presenters for those insights into reuse, recycling, and have some practical applications. We have gotten some questions from the audience, and I'd like to share just a few. If we don't get to your question, please do continue submitting them, and we'll pass them along to the speakers. Cindy, this question is for you. How has COVID-19 impacted customer sentiments on sustainability?
Well, as we talked about earlier, customer sentiments around sustainability has not really decreased at all. They are still very sensitive to sustainability and making sure that they're taking advantage of that. They are, however, looking at things like their subscription models and where they're refilling packaging. And if they are purchasing disposable packaging, just trying to understand what the impact that might have from a hygiene perspective, but really focus still on the overall how sustainable the products are they're buying.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think we have time for just one more question. It's which top 2 or 3 areas seem to resonate the most for customer sustainability desires? Supply chain sourcing, packaging, energy usage, or reuse? What are grabbing consumers the most?
I can take that one.
Go ahead.
So they really are focused on, the ability to be environmentally friendly, bringing their own bags to the grocery stores. They're also looking for appliances that are energy efficient from that perspective. But the other thing is sourcing. They are looking for locally made products. They're looking for products that are healthy and contain healthy ingredients and less processing of foods. So definitely those are some of the top categories when they think about this, as well as trying to minimize any waste they might have from the food they buy.
So I think the other, what we're also seeing is, especially in the current environment, is regarding packaging. With more and more people making online purchases that are delivered to homes, and having not only the visible tactile response to boxes that are coming into homes and all of the additional packaging, we're seeing that as emerge as a really a significant trend that more and more consumers are becoming aware of and are trying to rethink about how can you eliminate, packaging in a way that, still allows for the increase of home deliveries, of which, we see for the foreseeable future, but how can you do that in a much more sustainable way? So I just wanted to add that because we're all, experiencing that as we look at the, garbage, that we're taking out to our trash bins on a daily, basis in some cases, if not certainly weekly basis, and the impact that that's having. So a lot more interest in what can be done to, minimize and eliminating, excess and, superfluous packaging.
That's an excellent point, and it certainly goes along with the incredible growth in e-commerce and delivery services that we've seen due to COVID-19 and also other long-running trends. Unfortunately, as I said, we're out of time. I want to thank all the attendees for joining us, and also our speakers, Michelle, Diane, Cindy, and Monique. I hope everyone has a great day.